All right, we give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Alahym in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach today. Pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they was testified me, and you would not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Alahym in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Alahym only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, of whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Psalm 67. Praise be to Yahuwah. Back at it again. So Psalm 67 and 1. Alahym be merciful unto us and bless us and cause his face to shine upon us. Selah. Now we talked about that a little bit on Wednesday. We read Numbers chapter 6. And another place, I think that was just number 6. But let's continue on with that fact that calls you. And we read Ezekiel 20 with his face shining upon you. And of course, that's his face bringing forth light. I want you to come over here to John chapter 11. I want John chapter 7. You can pick it up at verse 5. They say, for neither did his brethren believe in him. Then Yahushua said unto them, my time is not yet come, but your time is always ready. The world cannot hate you, but me it hate, because I testify of it, that the works thereof are evil. Now come back over here to John chapter 3. After we read John chapter 3, I think I need Ephesians chapter 5. John 3:17 is sufficient. For Alahym sent not his son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. Now, again, you know from 1 John chapter 1, about verse 5, the Alahym is light and no part darkness. Matter of fact, pause. Hold this, John 3. Come on around here to Colossians. Shalom, man. Come on around here to Colossians, man. I want you to come on around here to Colossians, man. Chapter 1 and verse 9. For this cause we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you, in the desire that you might be filled with the knowledge of his will and all wisdom and spiritual understanding. Now, see, that's what another part of the gospel in the verse that we're zeroing in on in this Psalm 67 is about, that you're filled with the knowledge of Alahym's will. So we're going to pause from that. We're going to go read Deuteronomy 18 on general principle, and John chapter 6 on general principle. Deuteronomy 18 and 18. Make it Deuteronomy 18 and 13. Deuteronomy 18 and 13. You shall be perfect with Yahuwah. Shalom, man. You shall be perfect with Yahuwah your Alahym. For these nations which you shall possess and hearken unto observers of time and diviners, but as for you, Yahuwah your Alahym have not suffered you to do so. Yahuwah your Alahym will raise up unto you a prophet from the midst of you, of your brethren, like unto me. In him shall you hearken. So we know what the midst is. We've talked about that. But now you got will raise up, which is Quam. You know what hearken is? That is Shema. That is the one that you will listen to and obey. But of course, with Quan, to raise up, to cause to arise, to stand up, also to become powerful and to come on the scene. One who will maintain himself, to be established, also to be confirmed. Someone who will establish and oppose, rise up and erect, build. All of those type of things. You got Kuf, U, and Mim. So we're already established that light has been secured by the Ruach of Alahym because he caused this individual to rise up. Now we could take the time in great detail if we so chose. And we could look in those places in Ezekiel 34, and Ezekiel 37, and Jeremiah 33, and Jeremiah 23, and Isaiah 16, where it talks about a man who's going to rise up. Psalms 110, who's going to be a king and a priest and a deliverer and all of these things. And also a prophet. See, this is the thing we have to sit back and look at. He said he'll be a prophet like unto him. A lot of individuals don't realize that Moses was a prophet because there's prophecies in the things that he spoke, more specifically Deuteronomy 33, more specifically Genesis chapter 49. This is how he's able to fit into that. See, pause. Hebrew chapter 3. Three and 1. We got Colossians 1, Deuteronomy 18, and John chapter 6, and Psalm 67, and also John chapter 3, if I didn't reference that already. Hebrews 3 and 1. Wherefore, Kadash brethren, partakers of the heavenly calling, consider the apostle and high priest of our profession, Mashiach Yahushua, who was faithful to him that appointed him, as also was Moses was faithful in all his house. But see, as was faithful, it's not there. It's just say who was faithful to him that appointed him, as also Moses in all his house. So it's not the fact that they're focusing in on that Moses was faithful. They're focusing on the person who was faithful to Moses. The same person who was faithful to Yahushua. That is actually who the verse is focusing on. He said, for this man was kind of worthy of more esteem than Moses, inasmuch as he who hath builded the house have more honor than the house. See, that's where that qualm is going to come in at. The individual who comes on the scene and builds. See, we're going to look at something on the come on the scene and build aspect in just a moment. For every house is builded by some man, but he that built all things is Alahym. Moses truly was faithful in all his house as a servant for a testimony of those things, which would be spoken after. Mashiach as a son over his own house, whose house we are, if we hold fast the confidence and the rejoicing of hope firm unto the end. Remember, he said, if you destroy this body, this temple, I'll rebuild it in 3 days. Amos told you about to rebuild another ruins of the tabernacles of David. Dudes think that's talking about bringing back Judah. But nevertheless, let's do this. Thing was just in my brain. I got to remember. Oh, yes. Daniel chapter 9. Will 24 be sufficient? 24 is sufficient. Daniel 9 and 24. "70 weeks are determined," this is Daniel 9:24. 70 weeks are determined upon your people, upon the Kadash city, to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most Kadash. Now, see, this is the difference. When Moses came, Moses didn't come to finish transgression, nor to make an end of sins, nor to make reconciliation for iniquity. I know we done did this before, but I'm going to do it again. For those who may not be familiar with each and every one of those things we're talking about, so you're not confused, doubting, or running back with bad dope that somebody done sold you, thinking that you're getting off. Because a lot of times, well, you're smoking trash. When you look at finish, you got kala. That is to withhold, to shut up, to refrain, to forbid, and to finish. So when it tells you that that's what he's going to do as regards to transgression, that means he's going to stop all rebellion. That means whoever comes into Mashiach is not going to rebel, which takes us back to that 1 John chapter 3 that we discussed on Wednesday. He that is born of Alahym sin not, his seed remain in him, because sons don't rebel. That's how you know Satan wasn't a son. Sons don't rebel. If you think sons rebel, that shows you what type of son or daughter you is. You's a rotten bastard. Ought to get out the house. Let's look at the next thing. We look at 70 weeks are determined. What is determined? That is to be decreed, to be settled out, or to marked out. So that means there was a certain time period that was marked out upon Jerusalem to make a stop or to withhold or to shut up rebellion. Simple as that. That's what's being established here. We turn around and say, and this is upon your people that this is going to happen for. So there's a 70 weeks that are determined or marked out and decreed for the people. That's why the people knew the man was coming. The next thing you turn around with, we just talked about, let's look at the finish. We said finish transgression. We already got that one. Let's look at to make an end to sins. So when you look at make an end, you have katam. That is to lock up or to be stopped, to set a seal or to affix. No more missing. That's why when people tell you the new covenant is not in effect, you're talking to woefully uninformed individuals. That's about the best I can give you. Of course, you got kata for sin. That's sin, sinful, sin offering, or the guilt of sin. So this man has came to make a restriction or the end of sin. Let's continue. Now it says to make reconciliation for iniquity. Y'all know what reconciliation is. That is kafar. That is to purge, to make an atonement, to atone for sin. You know that this man's blood and body was an atonement for sin. That's why I be telling y'all the stuff Bruce be doing on Day of Atonement. Boy, that junk trash, boy. And I tell them niggas that to their face. You around here talking about if I offended anybody, let me apologize. That man ain't never told you to do that. That day wasn't about you sinning against each other, boy. You ain't supposed to wait till the 10th day of the 7th month to go do that. What did Yahushua tell them people in Matthew 15? He said, if you offended against your brother, leave your gift at the altar and go get right with your brother. He didn't say wait till the Day of Atonement to do it. That's nigga stuff. And y'all niggas need to stop stamping that junk and call them niggas out and tell them stop doing it. Nigga, you know how feminine that is to get on the internet talking about if I've offended you, brother? You know if you offended a nigga or not. Truth be told, if a nigga can't talk to you directly, man, and get in contact with you, ain't no way you could have defended it. Ain't no way you could have defended him. Boy, if that man cannot pick up a phone and call you or get in contact with you in a direct fashion, ain't no way that nigga you offended this nigga. That nigga feelings hurt. Let that whole nigga let his coochie bleed. Tell him go get some tampons and some pads, nigga, and get himself right. Take a warm bath. Shoot, I ain't trying to be funny, man. Dead serious though. How can you offend someone who you ain't never seen before? How can you offend someone you ain't never talked to? I mean, that ain't an offense. Because I guarantee you, if you can climb your big happy behind on the internet talking about if I offended, you already know who you offended. Go see that man and get that right. If you got enough, you already know that's why you did it. You probably got 3-4 niggas in your brain when you're typing it. That's real feminine type stuff because that's you not having to be direct with going and making that right. You know what I'm talking about? No, man, we don't rock with that over here, now, G. Day of Atonement is not about you. You know full well that high priest went in there, made atonement for himself, and an atonement for the sins of the people. That junk had nothing to do with y'all sinning against each other. That man already told you what to do when it comes to that in the law. So what you need the 10th day of the 7th month to do that for? Oh, we're going to step on some toes tonight. Nobody want to hear that junk. And you should call them niggas out for it. I told you, man, Brother Pharaoh asked, is there a go along, get along gang amongst Hebrews? You know, I've been telling you that, not in them words. I've been telling you that for years. Yeah, nigga, go along and get along. You ought to call the people out for that junk and stop going along with it. That's sucker stuff. Boy, if that stuff ain't right, you let it be known, boy, that junk ain't right. I ain't talking about if you got a difference of perspective and opinions. I ain't talking about no differences of no doctrines, man. I ain't got no time for that. Let's nigga around here talking about crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Then you like, come on, bro. Like when the boy was talking about ain't nothing wrong with going to the club. Now you got to say, come on, bro. Boy, you ain't witnessing in no club. Boy, you in there to see them booty cheeks clap. Boy, who you think you fooling? You know what I'm saying? Nah, bro, nah. We ain't talking about, oh, you believe the day start this time. Nah, man. That ain't nothing to be going to, you wrong. See, you got bigger fish to fry. But if you know, boy, doing stuff, boy, that junk slime ball, that stuff ain't right, boy, you supposed to call them boys out for that junk, boy. You supposed to let them boy, at the bare minimum, let them know, I don't rock with none of that. That's y'all stuff. I don't roll with stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to be, as a man, bro, word or not, as a man, you should be like, nah, bro, that's not what's happening. And Brews don't do that, especially if you like them, especially if they got a name. You go along with whatever these dudes talking about. I don't care nothing about it. I don't know none of these niggas anyway. You know what I'm talking about? So I don't care about being your friend no way. That don't mean I'm going to shun you. But if you down with me, I'm down with you. You talking stupid, I'm going to let you go and stay over there and be stupid. That's your business, not mine. Let's look at this everlasting righteousness, ladies and gentlemen. Now, y'all know what everlasting is. That's Olam. You know what righteousness is. That's Sadah. Y'all know that Olam is a long duration, forever, perpetual. So if the new covenant ain't in effect, you got to ask yourself that there's no perpetual righteousness. So you know the law is not perpetual righteousness. Because before there was a law, there was Alahym. And he is perpetual righteousness. Uh-oh. That don't make people feel good on the inside. That means to get that, you got to do something you ain't never did before. You're going to have to trust your whore. Now, when we come in to seal up the vision, of course, you know, you got seal. And now, of course, you know, we got vision. You know, that's Hazan. And you know, that's prophecy. Uh-oh. Y'all know what that is. He said what he said with the book to do, what he told Daniel to do with the book in the 12th chapter. Who can tell me what he told Daniel to do with the 12th? I'm telling y'all all this because of what's in Psalm 67. That's why I'm doing it. Since I'm going to do it all the way live. I ain't going to keep you on here all night because I got to get you up early. And I know some of you niggas going to cry, but you got to get up early. You don't never cry for Mr. Charlie, though. I ain't ashamed to say it. I've been saying it for years. Because if I can get up early, you can too. And you ought to shoot. You got sons anyway. You should teach them niggas to get up early. Joe Punky behind out that bed, boy. I heard a dude talking about son. I forgot who it was, but he definitely said son. Yes, sir, Tavon. That I can resonate with because my granddaddy did it. Boy, he say, boy, you want to teach a young man to be a man, put in the work, and put in the work early. He say, take him with you, have him do whatever it is you doing, make him get up out the bed, make his bed, clean his tub, all that. You know what I'm saying? And I've been telling you that for years, boy. My granddaddy handed me a lawnmower 5 years old. Go on and push that, boy. I'm looking at this nigga like, nigga, I'm 5. The lawnmower taller than me. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? He wasn't trying to hear none of that. He wasn't going for none of them looks. He said, I'll be out there to check it. If it ain't right, you're going to still be cutting. But what does that do? It causes a man to understand. So I was just talking to a young jit, man, who came out to work today, man. And he was like, he had to go get his driver's license. He's 19 years old. I say, well, dang, young blood, why you ain't got your license? Because every time I got to go do it, I got more important stuff to do. I say, well, what you got more important to do? He said, got to help Mom do pay these bills. I said, man, let me tell you something, young blood. Ain't nothing wrong with helping your people out. But as a man, well, you can't put your people, and I'm talking about your people, I'm talking about your family members that do not descend from your loins and who loins you ain't bumping. You know what I'm talking about? Well, you can't put them before, because at the end of the day, whatever situation and circumstance they in, that's how you end up a son husband. That's how you end up delaying what you want to do. Because I'm like, boy, you in your youth. This is the time period you're supposed to be going about to build yourself up. So when you get to my age, life's a little bit easier for you. You don't want to sacrifice your building years trying to help somebody else out, putting your stuff to the back burner, putting your life behind. Now you behind schedule. Because at the end of the day, y'all done told y'all this before, and y'all already know this here. Well, ain't nobody coming to save you, boy. If you a man, boy, you got testicles in the penis, ain't nobody coming to save you. Don't nobody give a damn about you. And that's just what it is. That's why I get tired of hearing dudes on the internet crying about that junk, man. What you crying about that junk for? You already know what it is. Do what you got to do. There's too many men out here worrying about getting women and all this old other stuff and how women act. Who give a damn how a woman act? As it relates to you and what you got to do. Why do you even care? Why is it that important to you? Why are you that focused on her? You must want to be her. You're supposed to know how they act or how to navigate them. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all boys be looking at them boys. They entirely focused on women entirely too much. I ain't talking about peeping the game so you don't get caught up in no folly. Oh, they don't like average men. So what? Then bump that hoe. Get with a woman who likes you. Stop focusing on the women who don't like you. That's what's wrong with dudes. You worry about the women who don't like you. So guess what? If she didn't like you and you are what you think you are, then she just took a major loss. She may not see that she took a major loss right then and there in the moment, but over time she gonna see. And by that time, she gonna be busted up, built like a throw rug and a beanbag pillow, and it's gonna be too late. So it doesn't matter. I just be getting frustrated with some of the dudes, man. I can't even listen to some of these dudes no more. All you do is cry about what women are doing. And you know why dudes cry about what women are doing? Because you're talking to women who don't like you. You know what I'm saying? And the sad part is that men think that they can make a woman like them or cannot identify that this hoe don't like you. You know what I'm saying? It's only one situation and circumstance that a man should try to keep something together if possible, and that's if you're married. Well, if you ain't married to that woman, man, let that wobbly body hoe move on about up in it, man. You know what I'm saying? And women, don't be sitting around talking about this nigga ain't this nigga ain't that. If he ain't that and you ain't married to him, shoot, you shouldn't be giving him no butt going about your business. It's not that serious. He's talking trash about people who you say you don't like or desire. So why are you still there? Just go. But that's mainly for the men. Because see, that's what Yahuwah not finna sit here and make somebody like him. It's very, very feminine to try to make someone like you. Because that's in women's natural desire. They're social creatures. The term social butterfly is not created for men. You know what I'm saying? That's people pleasing. As a man, you shouldn't be seeking to people please. That's why the book tell you don't give your strength to a woman. That's how you end up in folly. She like you. She do what she's supposed to do. You know, you supposed to look out for your old lady, man. You already know we promote that. Ain't that what the book say to do? That's what Yahuwah do with his wife. She do what she supposed to do, and she handling her business. Well, you supposed to look out for that woman, man. But of course, you're supposed to have some requirements because Yahuwah got requirements for that. You know what I'm saying? You can't be handling people for handling basic responsibilities and think that you should get a pat on your back for basic responsibilities. That's not what the virtuous woman was about. That's not what these godly women in this text was about. Now, of course, if she does handle her basic responsibility, you still ought to bless her too, especially if she's doing well. But we talking about individuals like David. David is in high regard because he went above and beyond. His love and his trust in his Alahym caused him to say, I desire to do this, this, and this, even though he ain't asked me to do this. He didn't ask David to build him a house. He just had so much trust and hope in Yahuwah. He said, that's what I'm going to do because that's what I desire to do for him. See, that's a different type of mindset. Most people only want to do what they feel like is required of me and no more. That's not the mind that David had. That's not how Yahusha rolled. That's not how a lot of people, righteous men in this book, roll, period. That's her. Well, praise the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You definitely have to keep, like, you know, the brothers on the end of man, they like to talk about keeping masculine frame, but you know, we supposed to keep faithful frame, aka godly frame. Ain't nothing, because if you keep in godly frame, what does the text tell you? You'll be slow to wrath. So nobody would be able to get you off kilter. See, the word is impeccable, it's flawless, it's undefeated. There's no way that it can be beaten. We just don't adhere to it. As of course, you're going to have your foibles and shake-ups from time to time. Of course, you flesh and blood. But we ain't talking about having no slip-up the way you said it. You may be like, dang, I shouldn't have said that or did that in this instance. Okay, that's a learning experience. That's different. You know what I'm saying? That's different. But as a man, you're supposed to keep yourself regulated. That man say he already told you what wrath don't work the righteousness of Alahym. So we already know we ain't supposed to be high-headed, popping off. you find yourself getting angry quickly and ready to move to wrath, and you know you're not working in the righteousness of Alahym. You have to stop yourself right in the midst of that and assess yourself. I'm moving off something that's sensual, that's earthly, that's devilish. That's not a him, because Yahuwah don't pop off like that. You know what I'm saying? See, we have to see the problem is we influenced by what people say is a man out here in these American streets. That you got to be this old ruthless, savage, killer, aggressive type dude all the time. I got to beat somebody up. I got to kill somebody. I got to go from 0 to 100. I got to show a nigga don't play with me. And that man already told you, if they're not working the righteousness of Alahym, that means they don't have the everlasting righteousness, which means the vision ain't sealed up in them, which means ain't no end of sins, nor reconciliation for iniquity. So you know what the end of that going to be. See, all we trying to do, man, is for the whole, is to make sure that you have the necessary information to deliver your soul. All this other stuff that niggas on, man, I ain't got time for that. I don't care about a nigga doctrine. I don't care about none of that. What you hearing is going to be sufficient enough that your soul is preserved. That is the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters outside of that. People are like, oh, you say nigga, or you dress like this. See, you worry about the wrong thing. Because while you worrying about this and worrying about that, your heart's not clean. You're not filled with the ruah. You think somebody's heart unclean because they said nigga. You think you righteous because you moved to Africa. You think you this because you stay on a farm. You think you this because you stay in the woods. Nigga, you still don't believe. What does that do? See, we be worrying about the wrong thing. Boy, I got this money. So what? Nigga, that junk ain't worth nothing. That man already told you riches fly away to heaven like an eagle. So that junk don't mean nothing to me. That man told me if riches increase, don't set your heart upon it. So that don't mean nothing to me. See, if we going to see what the man say, then you have to see what he says and then look at that. And that is your eternal navigation center. That's your GPS. That's going to cause you to be able to globally move yourself around this God-forsaken planet until he chooses to redeem it and set it afire to purge it from the wickedness that defiles it on a day-to-day basis. But thank the Lord. Let's continue. And I'm going to tell you this here now. I don't mean to offend nobody, but don't come reach out to me about nothing about arguing with no grown man, because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to politely decline. Now, if we got to defend the faith, that's a whole nother matter. You come holler at me. We crack niggas' skulls on general principle. You know what I'm talking about? We come from the banging where they hang them. That's what they call our city, and we'll hang a nigga real quick if it comes time to defend that faith. But if it's about some folly, keep that junk to yourself, because I personally do not care. I will not participate, and I will tell you that directly so there will be no confusion. Now, if you just want to hear some word, you know, you can holler at me anytime about that. Shoot, trap don't never close. Verse, and of course, the anoint the most Kadash. Now, Tavon already dropped that up right at the seal division. Of course, you know, it tell you that he told Daniel, seal up the book, saying wasn't nobody to seal up the book, to unseal the book. Yahushua came and did it. See, now again, when we look at that seal, and of course, you know, to anoint the most Kadash, I'll get to that in a moment. But of course, to seal that vision, that's to lock it up, to seal it, to stop it, or to affix a seal. What is the seal that is being affixed? It is the Ruach HaKadosh that is being affixed. This is how he was faithful in the house that he built, because his father was faithful to him as he was faithful to Moses. And we're still holding Psalm 67, Colossians chapter 1, Deuteronomy 18, John chapter 3, and John chapter 6. Let's continue in verse 25. He said, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Mashiach, the prince, shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks, and the street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. After 62 weeks shall Mashiach be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come destroy the city and the sanctuary, the end thereof shall be with a flood until the end of war and desolations are determined. Now, of course, cut off, karat, you know what that is? To kill. Also, we talked about this before, to cut a covenant. See, that's what people, that go back to what we were talking about in Daniel 9. A covenant is not effective as long as the testator lives. He has to be cut off in order to institute this. See, what other individuals get at, we still telling people to know Yahuwah. I'm going to tell you something real, man. Somebody who got the Ruach HaKodesh in them, you ain't got to tell them to know Yahuwah. They already do. So the fact that you feel like you got to run around and tell people know Yahuwah, that says a lot about you and who you talking to. I ain't talking about getting understanding. It say to know Yahuwah. Y'all know the word for know, that's yada. So that means you can't perceive, understand, and discern Yahuwah. Well, you got a problem, boy. Let me show you that word in Jeremiah 33, just so you know that's yada, so you know I'm not making that up. You got a problem now. If you can't discern and you don't know Yahuwah, oh boy, you got a problem. And so I just seen somebody say it's going down, like we got to get ready for the wilderness. You wait for it. Ain't nobody going to be there with you. Ain't nobody going to be there with you. Let me leave people alone because they don't know nobody. Now he says to know him. I'm in Jeremiah 31 and 34. That ain't nobody but Muffin. And that's yada, to know, learn to know, to perceive, to see, to find out, and discern. But here's the most important thing. To confess, to acknowledge, to admit, to know by experience. To know by experience. You know, that made something come to mind. Talking about to know by experience. Let's take a look at this. Hebrews chapter 6. Abigail. Hello, Abigail. What's it? Muffin Man? Hello, Muffin Man. Go sit. Pop, pop. Hello, Muffin.
Can I sit right here?
Yes. Hello, Tappy Man.
I appreciate you.
I just seen that. I don't think I had that flavor before. Lizzie? Hey, Lizzie. Hebrew chapter 6. Is it chapter 6 or is it 5 that I desire? It's 5. 5 and 11. Are you okay, Abigail? Hebrews 5 and 11. Of whom we have had many things to say, hard to be uttered, seeing you are dull of hearing. For when the time for you ought to be teachers, you need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of Alahym, and as such have had need of milk and not of strong meat. What's the first? Who can tell me what are the first principles of the oracles of Alahym? Oh, you got a hat there, huh, boy? Look at you. What is the first principles of the oracles of Alahym? I'll allow it for the moment. Do any of you know what the first principle of the oracles of Alahym are? Do you know, Pop? Do you want to know? Why do you want to know? So why do you want to know something if you don't know why you want to know it? What sense does that make, Pop? Yes, Renee. Yes, sir. Deuteronomy chapter 6. To love Yahuwah with all your heart, mind, and soul. That's the first principle. And if you don't know that, if somebody got to come tell you to know that, and you say you know Yahuwah, well, you a liar, and the Amad ain't in you with your funky self. Let's continue. He say, for everyone that use milk is unskillful in the words of righteousness, he is obeyed. So if an individual will tell you the new covenant ain't in effect, I mean, he unskillful in the words of righteousness, because he said he came to seal up everlasting righteousness, or to bring that in. So he came to bring righteousness in forever, for a long duration. The Ruach does not end. Alahym is infinite. Let's continue. But strong meat belongs to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So you ain't a fool. How you don't know how to discern and to perceive you? How does that work? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Back to Daniel chapter 9. Hey. Is that my hat? Is that your hat?
Yeah.
It's mine?
Yeah.
Oh, it's you. That's what it is?
Yeah.
Oh. Let's look at also the end of war desolations are determined. Back in Daniel 9 and 26. First thing first, end of war, which y'all know is Milkamah. That's a battle. That is a war. We need to determine what is the war. We look at determined. That is harass. That is the decree, or to determine, obviously, to be decisive. There is a decisive war. What is desolations? That is shamam, and that is something that is desolate, appalled, awestruck, something that causes terror, something that is devastated or ravaged, something that is left desolate, something that causes one desolation or causes one to come into ruin. So he is coming in, that the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. He said the end will be a flood until the end of the war. Desolations are determined. What is the war that has to be brought to ruin, that has been decisively decided that it shall be destroyed? What is the war? Food. Ain't nobody worrying about no food, boy. You's a funny boy. Any of you have an idea? Calm down, Renee. What you laughing at, man? War of your flesh? I can dig it. Renee, I need y'all to calm down. Muffin man. Muffin man. Calm down. Armageddon? Or the woman's seed and the serpent seed? Do you know who the woman's seed is? What about you, son?
Oh.
I don't know what you said. Yes, sir. Monte got it more in line of what I was angling towards. And that's the battle of Ruach versus flesh. But more importantly, come over here to what it is. Ecclesiastes chapter 8. Bless you. Ecclesiastes 8 and 6. Calm down, Muffin man. You excited, ain't you? You amped up? They gave you some sugar before you got here? Oh, you did? You want some gummies?
Yeah.
I'll be quiet now. Don't be rude. That's enough. Abigail, that's enough. Muffin man, that's enough. 8 and 6, Ecclesiastes. Because to every purpose there is time and judgment. Therefore the misery of man is great upon him. For he know that which shall be, for who can tell him when it shall be? There's no man that have power over the Ruach to retain the Ruach. Neither have he power in the day of death. There is no discharge in that war. Neither shall wickedness deliver those that are given to it. Let's listen to that verse 8 one more time. There is no man that have power over the Ruach to retain the Ruach. neither have power in the day of death. There is no discharge in that war. Uh-oh. Now we see what the end of the war, the desolation, which got to be started. Let's take a look and see who's going to end it. Let's come over here to John chapter 10. Still got Colossians chapter 1, John chapter 3 and 6, and Deuteronomy chapter 18, along with Psalm 67. And Yahuwah willing, we'll get to Deuteronomy 28. 10 and 14. What you over there laughing at, little muffin? What you over there laughing at, little muffin? Oh, now you're looking puzzled. No, it's because my hair is not in its usual state, but you don't know who I am. Very well then. John 10 and 14. I am the good shepherd and know my sheep and am known of mine. As Abba know me, even so I know Abba, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep have I hired which are not of this fold. Them also must I bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Therefore do my Abba love me, because I lay down my life that I might take it again. No man take it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down. I have power to take it again. This commandment I have received of my Abba. And that's where you see the Ruach versus the flesh. Not in the aspect of the Ruach versus the flesh in regards to you battling sin, but making the end of the war that in the discharge of you can't retain the spirit. You don't have no power to do that. Again, let me read Ecclesiastes 8 and 8 again so it can resonate. There is no man that have power over the Ruach to retain the Ruach, neither has he power in the day of death. There is no discharge in that war. Let's look and see what discharge means. Discharge. What do we have in this one here? Mishloach. Discharge. Deputation. Sending away. There's no way that you can send away death. Can't do it. You have no ability to stop this. Someone has to come in and do it. When we look at power, and of course, hold on. Let me do it like this. When they tell you that there's no man there, of course, you got Adam. So the first Adam has no power. That says mastery, domineering, shalet. He doesn't have it. You have Shan, Lamad, Yad, and Tet. So guess what? The shepherd had to be contained in consumption in order to perform the work of giving you life. Because he could domineer and master death, but you couldn't do it. First Adam couldn't do it. That's why the second Adam had to come in and do it. Let's return back to Daniel 9 and be done with this. I guess you heard that, huh, buddy? You decided to return. Daniel 9. That's Daniel 8. That ain't gonna help. Boy, you over there farting, boy, and laughing about it. That ain't funny. Daniel 9 and 27. Are you sleeping? And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. In the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. For the overspreading of the abomination, he shall make it desolate, even unto the consumption. And determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Now, just for refreshing sakes, what does that mean? That he will cause the covenant, confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. In the midst of the week. Very easy question, I know. Very easy question, I know. Confirm, just so you know, it's Gavar. All right, now put it back, leave stuff alone. Now you're overstepping your bounds. Now y'all acting like y'all ain't got no sense. You need to govern yourselves properly. Do I make myself clear? Do you understand? You understand? Or you don't understand? Then go over there with your father. So you understand. Also, it means to prevail, to have strength, to be mighty, to be great. But this is to confirm a covenant. So he's going to confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. In the midst of the week. What does it mean? What does it mean? Just so you know, Shavuot Y'all know what that is. Feast of weeks, period of 7 days, a week. So he's going to confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. In the midst of that week, he'll cause it to cease. Cease is Shabbat. Y'all know what that is. Cease, desist, and rest. And there it is. In the middle. And of course, for midst, that is half, middle. Katse. Half, middle. That's right, gentlemen. In the middle of Passover. Not just talking about, oh, he on a Wednesday. That's lazy. That's lazy teaching. When I say lazy teaching, that's somebody who's not taking the time to be discriminatory in the mystery of Mashiach to give such bad information to try to combat. Oh, why you Christians go church celebrate Easter from Friday night to Sunday? That ain't 3 days. He got killed on Wednesday and rose on Saturday. So that's lazy because you're focused on combating a Christian. Is actually manifesting the righteousness of Alahym. That's why that's bad teaching. You know why the people keep Easter? Because they're doing something else, and that's their business. If you focused on what was just and what was right to be able to properly explain the will and righteousness of Alahym, you might be able to run them people over. Let me tell you something, man. You ain't gonna never win nobody by trying to prove them wrong. And it's an ineffective strategy. It doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? And you can look at that in any aspect of persuasion. You can read, because at the end of the day, and I say persuasion because that's what Paul stated in 2 Corinthians 5. He said, knowing the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. So if you're looking to persuade someone, you're not going to persuade them by telling them that they're wrong. That causes people to get defensive, and it causes them to shut down and to defend their stance. They're not going to listen. Anybody who thinks that they can persuade somebody over to their side by proving them wrong, you're talking to an unskilled man. You're also talking to a man who clearly has not been sent by Alahym. Because when you look at what Yahushua went and did, he never focused on trying to prove people wrong. All he did was put his work out on the street because he already knew what he was saying was right. So he didn't have to do that. Most of the time when he came at them people, it was to check them for their wickedness, their hypocrisy, and their unbelief. Not to prove them your doctrine wrong. Y'all worshiping this, y'all pagan, you're not gonna win nobody with that. See what that is right there. See, that's a penis measuring contest. That's what that is. You're trying to see who genitalia the biggest. See, that's lame. That's a man who's not confident in his information. That's a man who's not confident in his stance. That's a man who doesn't believe what he's saying because he needs to prove somebody else wrong in order to uplift himself and justify himself with his information. I don't care if you believe what I'm talking about. I really don't care if you agree with what I'm talking about. That don't mean that it ain't right. That man already told you that. Let Alahym be true and every man be a liar. The word Alahym true. You can look at it. That's your belief. That's your understanding. So be it. I'm gonna say the same thing tomorrow, cuz I'm not gonna change it, and I'm not gonna run up on you and say you're wrong. I already know Easter wrong. So what am I telling you that for? Especially if you didn't ask me. I don't need to berate you with that. I don't need to come up when December come around and tell you how idolatrous Christmas is. I don't care if you celebrate Christmas. That's your business. If you ask me about it, I'll tell you. I ain't gonna run up on you about it and belittle, and destroy what you believe in and think that's gonna win you over to my side. How stupid is that? That doesn't make any sense. How many crackheads you seen went over to stop smoking crack because you told them how bad crack was? That didn't make them stop. They still went and smoked them rocks. They already knew them rocks was bad. If you want to win somebody to Sunday, win a soul, you got to show them there's a better way without even mentioning what they doing, because your better way would magnify in their hearts that they way ain't the way. Oh, but that take a level of wisdom that most people ain't got. You ain't got to browbeat people to get them to see that if what they doing ain't the right way. See, that manipulation, that's a female trait. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no business. Men ain't got no business manipulate, man. You stated this is what it is and this is what we doing. You rolling with it or not. That's it. There's no need for that. Be straightforward. And if people don't want to roll with it, shoot, your loss. That's not hard. Is it hard? What's your problem? Why are you looking sad? You want to play with your little ugly dog? Is that a beagle? Is that a poodle? What is it?
The puppy.
What kind of puppy?
The tiny.
Looks like a beagle to me. You just don't know what a beagle is, do you? That's a kind of dog. No, that's why you're confused. Let's continue. Where we at? I need to return to Colossians chapter 1. Muffin Man, what's your deal, buddy?
Yeah.
What's your deal? That was just a brief respite for looking at what was in verse 9. Actually, I need to return to Deuteronomy 18. I'm sorry. (18 and 15) one more time. Yahuwah your Alahym will raise up unto you a prophet from the midst of you, of your brethren, like unto me, and unto him shall you hearken. According to all that you desire of Yahuwah your Alahym and Horab in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yahuwah my Alahym, neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. Yahuwah said unto me, they have spoken, they have well that which they have spoken, because that's spoken that, it ain't there. He just let it be known. You said what was right. That's in Exodus, if you don't know. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto you, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. Now, this is where I'm going to test your knowledge. When we look over here in verse 14, 16, and 17, he says, according to what you desired in Horab, that was for him not to speak to them. What was he saying to them in Horab that they desired not to hear anymore? And they said, let Moses speak unto us. See how you happen to yourself? That's how it happened to yourself. Being reckless. Luckily for you, Pop was there to deliver you from your danger. Now you want to hold her hand and to thank her for her benevolence, don't you? Oh, you want to play? It ain't playtime, boy. You say thunder? Anybody else? Do you remember being a baby? His voice scared him? Why don't you remember being a baby? How do you know nobody doesn't remember?
Do you remember?
Possibly. You can't confirm it or deny it. I said possibly.
Yes or no?
That is correct, Sean. He was presenting the covenants and the commandment. Let's look at that in Exodus chapter 20. Do you think Little Muffin over there remembers being a baby? Do you think she knows what's going on? Yeah, I think she does know what's going on. Do you think she knows who you are? Then she knows what's going on. You weren't ready for that, were you? No. You got duped. 20 and 18, if you would. Let me make sure, because we don't need to read a whole lot that we don't need to read. Yes, 20 and 18 is sufficient. Exodus. All the people saw the thunderings and lightnings, the noise of the trumpet, the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, speak you with us, and we will hear. But let not Alahym speak with us, lest we die. Moses said unto the people, fear not, for Alahym has come to prove you, that his fear may be before your faces, that you sin not. Now, let's look at this as in essence in this regard. What does the law say about how Yahuwah viewed Moses in juxtaposition to Aaron? It makes it easier for you to decipher that answer. What does the word say in regards to Moses in juxtaposition to Aaron?
What? Just
Juxtaposition and contrast.
say that first time.
That is correct, Andrew. He said he would be like Alahym. Now he said that he would raise up a prophet like unto Moses. So the prophet like unto Moses would be like unto Alahym. So that means he would get the word directly from whom? Throw that away for me, please. Thank you. This is what. Indeed, that would make him an apostle. So who would he be getting the word directly from in that instance? Correct, sir. He got it straight from Alahym himself. Let's continue. Deuteronomy 18. So remember, right, they said they don't want to hear the voice lest they die again. Lest they die. And again, right, what did they desire? What did they not want to hear from Alahym directly for? And receiving the covenant. That goes back to what we read in Ezekiel 20, that I will plead with you face to face and bring you into the bond of the covenant. He put himself in flesh for you to hear the word directly from Alahym in the flesh, since you didn't want to hear from him in the Ruach. Let's continue. Verse 18, Deuteronomy 18. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren like unto you, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. Let's take a look at John chapter 12, verse 44. Then we'll go back to Colossians chapter 1. It is possible. John 12 and 44. Yahushua cried and said, he that believe on me, believe not on me, but on him that sent me. He that see me, see him that sent me. And see, that's what's going back to what you see in Deuteronomy 18. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. That's why he told you to believe in Chronicles, to believe on Yahuwah and to believe his prophets. Because when you believe his prophets, you're believing him. You're not believing the person who's telling you. See, what has happened in this modern day time is because a lot of people get caught up in cult of personality and man worship. And a lot of men, unfortunately, are fanboys and the worshipers of men, that they think that they're believing the man. You're not believing the man if the word of Alahym is in that man's mouth. You're believing the person who sent him. That means if Yahushua sent him, you believing on Yahushua, which means you believing on Yahushua's father. Most men don't believe the word because they trust and hope in men. Let's continue. I come a light into the world, that whosoever believe on me should not abide in darkness, again causing his light to shine, or his face to shine upon us. If any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. He that reject me and receive not my words have one that judge him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. For I have not spoken of myself, but Abba which sent me, he gave me a commandment, what I should say and what I should speak. And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak, therefore, even as Abba said unto me, so I speak. That's it. He's not saying anything other. You know who else said that? Balaam said that. I can only say what this man has put in my mouth. I can't say anything less. I can't say anything more. Most people who pick up this book, they ain't son him. The man ain't son him because they saying more or they saying less than what the man said. Just say what the man said. He don't need you to put no spins, no extras, no additives, no preservatives, no seasonings, no spices. He don't need any of that. See, we do all that because we're concerned with just bringing people in. You have to be concerned about winning souls. Bringing people in means nothing if the soul is damned. What good was the win? That's not a win. That's an L. Colossians chapter 1 and verse 9. Now, Pot,
Yes.
I distinctly asked you to stop playing with that dog, but yet here we are. Now you asked to sit over here. Why did you ask that? Young lady asked you a question.
Mm.
Why did you ask to sit right here? You really need that long to answer that question? Oh, you knew full well why you asked to sit, because you just didn't sit here. You asked specifically, could you sit here? So there would have been a reason to dictate you to do that. What was that reason? Let me guess. Could it be because you wanted to hear? So why didn't you just say that? You do know why. Because you feel embarrassed right now. But there's no need for you to feel embarrassed because no one has embarrassed you. But if you can't listen and play with your little dog at the same time, how can you? So why play with the dog? Does he talk to you? Did he bark at you? Or you just feel compelled to touch him and play with him? Is that what it is? Well, I would need you to resist that urge and to pay attention. Can you accomplish that? Because if you can't accomplish that, you must be banished to the couch with your mother. Would you like to be banished over there with your mother? No, why not? You don't like your mother now? Hey, you don't like your mother now? Oh, you're ashamed. It's okay. You'll get over it. Colossians 1 and 9. For this cause we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you and desire that you might be filled with the knowledge of his will and all wisdom and spiritual understanding. See, wisdom of his will is to skillfully execute it and to have the insight on why you're executing it. That you might walk worthy of the Lord under all pleasing, shalom, Brother Reynolds, all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of Alahym, strengthened with all might according to his esteemed power, unto all patience, long suffering with joyfulness, giving thanks unto Abba, who have made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the faithful in light, who have delivered us from the power of darkness and translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, and whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins. All that, what we just talked about, what we just read right here, we've pretty much just looked at, just talking about Deuteronomy 18. I believe we have John chapter 6 available. Let's take a look. I'll pick it up at 22 on general principle. Bathtub man. Are you okay? You look like you're hungry. Are you hungry? Are you always hungry? No, you're not. You're just hungry right now. Go ask your father for Miss Sade to serve you. Because she's already in there.
You want to plate?
You need to ask your father. Say, may I have some food, please?
Mother's
Well, stop running.
Hey, come here, little boy. You're walking like your feet hurt. You ain't did nothing all day. All y'all did was sit at a table and fart and tell lies. That's all you did.
It's not true.
It's not untrue either. John 6 and 22. The day following, when the people which stood on the other side of the sea saw that there was none of the boat there, save the one where his disciples were entered, Yahushua went not with his disciples into the boat, but that his disciples were gone away alone. Howbeit there came other boats from Tiberias, near unto the place where they did eat bread, and after that the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Yahushua was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping and came to Capernaum, seeking for Yahushua. And when they had found him on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when came you hither? Yahushua answered and said, Truly, truly, I say unto you, you seek me not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat loaves and were filled. Labor not for the meat which perish, but for the meat which endure unto life, everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him, Alahym, Abba, sealed. Again, referencing back to things that we've already looked at. They said unto him, What shall we do that we might work the works of Alahym? Yahushua answered and said unto them, This is the work of Alahym, that you believe on him whom he hath sent. It's very simple. Hey, little muffin. It's very, very simple. That's what Deuteronomy 18 told you to do. Was that not the work of Alahym? Someone let me know. Now, don't put my hat on the floor. I paid good money for that. Would you like for me to push your hat on the floor? I didn't think you would. I didn't think you would. Oh, some rude little children. Little muffin. What you over there doing, little muffin? Oh, I'm waiting on the answer for that, by the way. That is the labor of Alahym, to believe his word. That's when you're doing the word. All these dudes be talking about they doing the word, but Yahushua said that's the word. Let's sit here and read it in Greek, and let's see what work say. So we don't want nobody to say we just coming up with our own doctrine, because that's what whole niggas like to do. Niggas who sit down and urinate. You know people who sit down and urinate? No, you don't. You scratched your eye, little muffin. You scratch your own eye? Deidre got you? Shoot, she was at a mammy house trying to get her hair done, because of course they tried to coordinate an event with 15 women and none of the women were on time. Yeah, that's not a shock. And then they ran long.
Super long. What's that? Stuff couldn't get accomplished.
Couldn't get accomplished. Ergon is the word for work. This is business. This is employment. That which anyone is occupied. Any act, deed, things done. Working is emphasized. Any product accomplished by hand, art, industry, or mind, enterprise, or undertaking.
That's why you keep falling.
Used to be my homie. Now you act like you don't know me. Because every time I get my hair braided, I don't know that guy. I only know the nappy hair. That's the work of Alahym right here, right? Is to believe on Alahym. Let's see the Greek word for believe. Y'all know that asah is the word for work in Hebrew. pt2, to think, to be true, to be persuaded of, to place confidence in, the thing believed. So your occupation is to put confidence in the one whom he sent. Sent is to order one to go to a place appointed. Allow one to depart that he may be in a state of liberty. Apostello. Look at Psalm 78 for the scriptural reference for this very message that he's stating right here. So if you don't believe in the one whom he have sent, as the scripture has said, you ain't doing the work of Alahym. That's what the Lord said. I ain't said. That's not my personal opinion. That's what the text say. That's what the book say. So if you got a problem with what the book say, shoot, take that up with the Lord, because I ain't definitely not finna argue with you. Psalm 78, verse 4. Would you like a book? Why didn't you just ask for one? Do you have one? You left it at home? I understand. You have to wait till your TTD get back around here. Because I don't know where she keep them at. What you put it on? Oh, no. I don't know if she going to care for that.
She's training when she get back. Definitely 76 right now.
Yeah, because it was on 78. That's what she put it on when she departs.
Over here, all right? She put it on when she's here. You don't know, do you?
I don't know what she put it on. I just tell her, hey, man, it's hot in here.
So she put on 73. She can adjust when she comes back.
It was on 85 when we came.
Yeah, she doesn't let it run when she's not present.
Oh,
Makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
Some people don't.
Mine gonna run.
Mine is too. I'm here with you now.
Yeah, that junk got to be. I don't need it to take some time to cool down.
Yeah, I don't need none of that either. When I walk in the door, I need it to be cold.
It don't got to be cold. It needs to be comfortable. It needs to be like, dang, I need to go back outside. It's hot in this hole. I don't want to be in here.
That's basically what it is right now. Don't worry, I'll get you right.
Psalm 78:1.
She can adjust if need be.
Indeed. Give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from our children, showing to generation to come the praises of Yahuwah, his strength, and his wonderful works that he have done. Yahusha is his praises. You know what the wonderful works are. He has established a what? A testimony in Jacob, appointed a Torah in Yasharal, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children. And again, who did he command that to make that be known to? He said he told the fathers to make that known to the sons. So that's a part of a man's responsibility and duty. It's the duty for the father to teach the sons. That the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children. See, now let's just pause for a moment. Just on the natural side of things, this is why they seek to destroy the whole aspect of being married. And I'm not talking about just destroy the aspect of people not getting married, but the aspect of where women are seeking to siphon off whatever they can get, and men don't see that any benefit in them to participate in the institution. See, a lot of, and I'm not talking about people who are in the word, even though some women who are in the word and some men who are in the word hold the viewpoints that I just stated on those differing points of view. But the point of the matter is this. Most men in this society, word or not, want to be married, because most men would rather be married to the woman and be under the roof of where their offspring is at. Most men have no desire to be a co-parent. Now, I know a lot of women in this society were like, no, they don't, because these men don't take care of their kids. No, the men you let skeet in your vagina don't take care of their kids. That's your problem if you did not properly vet a man before you allowed him to inseminate your womb. And we're not going to let you pass the buck on that. If the nigga's trash, he's trash. But clearly he wasn't that trash because you let him get up in you. So we don't want to hear that. The same way that we don't want to hear that when a dude be talking about his baby mama trash. Well, why did you go into her back? Whose fault was that? But see, the problem is that in this Western society, men do not see any benefit in it. Like I said, I had a conversation with a woman a long time ago. And she was like, dudes bash single mothers. And I say, well, I asked her a simple question. I say, well, baby, what's the benefit of a man raising another man's child? And she said, why should he get a benefit? That type of thought process is why dudes don't want to get married. because you're telling a man that he should enter into something and that he should not benefit from it. This is the attitude of most people, that men should not benefit from the thing they're going to lead and finance, and they should not get a benefit from it. As a man, you should get a benefit from everything that you participate in. See, when somebody hears a benefit, they're automatically going to think that you're exploiting someone. I can't be exploiting you if I'm providing for you. I can't be exploiting you if I'm leading you. I can't be exploiting you if I'm chastising you or rebuking you when rebuke is needed. I am not exploiting you if I am pouring into you the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that I possess. Where is the exploitation? That means I am giving unto you an extreme amount of value. I think that I know that I'm going to get a benefit from this, or I am not going to participate. This is why people don't want to do it. So when you destroy that, and I told you before, there is no family without a father. See, now you got all this stuff because it's Father's Day and Mother's Day and all this type of stuff, and it make people have all these conversations. But the thing is that, of course, in this society, they lift up mothers more than fathers. That's their business. But y'all already know there is no family where there is no father. Where there's no man, you have nothing. That offends most women in these days and times, but deep down in their soul, they know it. I just heard a woman say, why both of us can't lead? Well, if both of us gonna lead, then you shouldn't have no expectation for a man to provide for you 100%. You can't have that expectation. You can't have that expectation for the man to protect 100% if both of us is gonna lead and make decisions. See, that's not how leadership works. You can't get the benefit of I want to make decisions and call shots and then not do the grunt work that goes along with it. That means I'm going to need you to lead the whole house in wisdom and understanding. Don't ask me no questions that you can't answer, because you the leader of the house. We lead together, so you got to figure that out. See, men already know that. When it comes to them, if they don't have a group of men or resources that they can go to, he just got to figure it out. Nobody doesn't care if you don't know. You better find somebody who do, or go through trial and error. And we know you don't want to go through trial and error, because that's a horrible way of doing anything. So this, when you look at this, I mention this because the text says that the father should make this known to their sons, to their children, that the generation to come would tell it to their children that should be born, who are going to declare it to their children. So when you eliminate the father from the equation, that leads to the destruction of an entire society of individuals. See, our people don't have a culture. We want to grab onto everybody else's culture. So therefore, that's why you have just utter mass confusion and destruction. Let's continue in Psalms 78 and 7. That they might set their hope in who? In Alahym, and for not forget the works of Alahym, but keep his commandments. See, a lot of people see the works of Alahym is to keep his commandments. See, there's a comma there. That means to not forget the works and to keep his commandments is two separate things that are being stated. Not two things that are conjoined. Because what do commas do, everybody? Is anyone in here a literary expert? You look like you took a couple literature classes. You look like you did well in grammar. Oh, so you can't talk right.
You got things you're trying to add.
Yeah, but that would mean you would put the and there as the enjoiner.
Yep.
And there is no and there.
There is no and.
So that comma there is a separator to let us know that there's two distinct things that are being mentioned.
Okay, good. Through myself.
I took a few. I ain't sleep through some of them. I stayed woke. We don't want to stay woke. That's that gay stuff. That's right. That too. When I say gay stuff, I'm talking about lame stuff. Because everybody who talking about stay woke, them boys good and lame. Walk around here with thong sandals on. Shoot it. When you walk around here with your Hotep, Botep, Bohemian pride, shoot, there's a lot wrong with it. Where your head wrap at, brother? Where your capris at, brother? Let's look at it, right? That's right, Andrew, to separate. Now, the set of hope here is kasel, excuse me. And of course, you know that is confidence and hope. But he said he don't want you to forget the works of Alahym. Works is malal, a word that you're familiar with, the deeds and the practices and the acts. What are those acts? Those are the acts that what he did to bring you up out of Mizraim, which you believed on strictly by faith. So what do you see? You see faith and obedience. That's what you're seeing right there. Of course, to keep his commandments, that's to guard his instructions. Very simple. Nasar mitzvah, to guard, to watch over. You're supposed to remember what he's done and then guard over what he gave you. How many times in that law did he reference to them people what he did to bring you up out of Egypt? How many times we just read it in Micah chapter 6 on Wednesday? He said, I got a controversy with you. He said, didn't I bring you up out of Egypt by the hand of Moses, Aaron, and Miriam? He said, you don't remember what I did to Og and Bashan and the kings of Moab? You remember the acts because you believe in his might. See again, there go the works of Alahym. The works of Alahym is to believe his word. And people don't believe it. Do you believe? Do you believe poop is for kids? What about tricks?
Yes.
Have you had tricks?
Yes.
Have you seen the silly rabbit that had to be told that tricks are for kids?
No.
I've never had tricks.
No, your father says you've never had tricks, so you've been tricked. Ha ha! Let's go back to Psalm 67.
Do you even know what tricks is?
I think we did Colossians 1, Deuteronomy 18, John 3, John 6. Yeah.
Nope, it's a cereal.
It is a cereal. Quite average and bland cereal, to say the least.
Yeah, no one is the one with the shapes. That was actually pretty delicious.
Psalm 67, 1. Alahym, be merciful unto us, bless us, and cause his face to shine upon us. Selah. You need to pause and think about that. And you already have a portion, Renee? That the way may be known upon the earth, your saving health among all nations. Who recalls what word saving health is? We talked about it on Wednesday. What is that Hebrew word for thy saving health? Boom. Boom. Pot, do you remember when you were a baby that we used to take bodybuilding naps? Oh, that's unfortunate.
Still got a picture of them too. Bodybuilding nap.
Bodybuilding naps. That's right, sir. Yahusha is what it says. So what it tells you is that your way may be known upon the earth and Yahusha among all nations. Uh-oh.
Hey, sit down. Sit down.
Yahusha being known among all nations. Let's take a look at something in the room. No, I don't want to do that. This is what I want to do. So you just gonna throw my hat on the ground, sir? Is that what we doing here? Is that what we doing, mother man? I'm trying to remember what I said. There it is. Come over here to Habakkuk chapter 2. I want you to pick up at verse 9. Hand me that hat, boy. Hand it here. Hand it here. So you's a stubborn boy. What I asked you to do? Now you want to stick your lip out. You ought to listen.
He grabbed me. I can't believe it. What?
Your feelings hurt?
Sure, this is stuff.
You should have listened. Now look at you. Now you're sad, perplexed, angered, if you would. Maybe not even angered, just hurt, damaged in your inward parts. All because you don't like to listen. Because you think somebody playing with you. Because you was a little baby boy. Boy, I'll stuff you down that toilet, boy.
And I'm flushing.
You better find you somebody to play with.
Quick.
Yeah, go and tuck your lip in. Get your face in order. Rock back and forth all you want. They ain't gonna change the fact you're wrong. You're lucky you ain't get struck and get embarrassed in front of all these people on this camera. Would you like that? You're just starting to get a neck. Would you like for me to push your head back down? What you laughing for? That funny to you? I'm talking to you. That funny to you? Does that make you smile?
You have to sit down.
Hosea 2:9. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 9. Woe to him that coveteth evil covenants to his house, that they may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Pause and think about that for a moment. What does this mean? What can this mean? Woe to him that coveted an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Let's look at verse 10. Maybe that'll help you out. You have consulted shame to your house by cutting off many people and have sinned against your soul. I want you to think carefully before you respond. Come here, boy.
Uh-oh. Trouble.
Come here, boy.
Don't say nothing.
Come here. Oh, you upset? Fine, then stay over there. Come here, boy. What you looking ugly for? What you looking ugly for? No, because you don't like to listen. Now look at it. These people got to look at you. They see you like that. You want them to see you looking like that? Oh, so you don't mind. Achan and Joshua with the curse thing. I can see why you would say that, but not in this instance. Huh? Why are you looking like that? That's how you want to be seen? You want to be viewed as the funny face boy? The pout face boy? That's how you want to be seen? What you laughing for? You say Esau dap?
And why are you laughing? So funny.
Don't play. Don't come over here and play.
We dressed up.
You got braid too? You braid boy? You braided muffin man? Anybody? What could this mean? Who is he that has consulted an evil covetousness to his house, or coveted the evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil? He has consulted shame to his house. Let's take a look at these words. Maybe that'll help you out. Maybe that'll help you out. Of course, you know, with covetousness and coveted, you have batsah, which is to gain wrongfully by violence. To be covetous, to be greedy, to gain by unrighteous violence. So what you're seeing here is woe to him that covets something by unrighteous violence. Covetousness here again is batsah. That's unjust gain acquired by violence. This is what the person has done. They have brought an unjust gain to themselves by violence, to their own body, to their own home. We're going to get down there, Mom. Now, what do you say to set his nest? Nest is Khan, nest of a bird, but mainly dwelling place. Not Judas in this instance, but you in the general vicinity, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. He's consulted to his shame. You already know what consulted is. Shame to his house by cutting off people. And many have sinned against your soul. Cutting off, what you know is to cut off. That's katsah. Covering the sins of the house. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Hold on, let me give you verse 11. He say, for the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. So let's look and see first and foremost. John chapter 11. Did you have enough food? Are you still hungry? Then you had enough food. So if you didn't have enough food, that would mean you would still be hungry. You make no sense. 11:45. Then many of the Yahudim which came to Mary and seen the things which Yahusha did believed on him. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahusha had done. Then gathered the chief priests and Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man do many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. And one of them, named Caphias, being high priest that same year, said unto them, you know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation, and not for that nation only, but also that he should gather together in one the sons of Alahym that were scattered abroad. Then from that day forth, they took counsel together for to put Yahushua to death. Now, you know that they consulted together and before Passover to put him to death. So now you see, woe to them that have got something by unjust gain or violence to their house, that they may set their nest or their dwelling place or their place amongst the people on high, that they may be delivered from the power of evil. That's why I say they consulted, which you just seen, to the shame to your house by cutting off many people. Matthew 23, for you to see them cutting off many people, and then them sinned against your soul. Love it, man. Matthew chapter 23, verse 13. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut up the kingdom of Shamahim against men, for you neither go in yourselves, neither suffer you them in that are entering to go in. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer, therefore you shall receive the greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you compass sea and land, and make one proselyte. When he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. Now, let's look at that. Let's look at that. They consulted to their shame by cutting off many people. Then by doing that, how did they cut off many people? They enticed the people, and the people said what? Let his sins be on our children's children. cut off, and they sinned against their soul, their own soul. But the stone that cry out of the wall is Yahushua being that stone that climb out of the wall, and that beam out of the timber that shall answer it. Let's look at beam, which is a rafter, a girder, a beam, which is the timber, which is os, which is a tree, plank, stalk. They are going to answer. Who is the tree, the beams? It is the people. Why are you looking like that? Oh, you've been hanging out in the sun.
Definitely.
I've been at summer camp.
I've been at summer camp. I've been at summer camp. I've been at summer camp.
About your question, huh?
Mm-hmm. She got about 3 more to go. Verse 12. Woe to him that build a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. What town was built with blood? What city was established with iniquity? And how so? Do you know? Oh. I've been at summer camp. I don't have to copy everything I say because I've been at summer camp. I've been at summer camp. You been at summer camp? I've been at summer camp. You been at summer camp? I've been at summer camp. Anybody? Y'all got something for me now? Work with me now. Who is he that built the town by blood? How did they build it? Who established the city by iniquity? How did they establish it? Oh, you's a goofy baby. Little Lizzie. I don't know. Are you telling me that or are you asking me that? Oh, Lord mercy. Very well. Did he build it by having a sin on him? On that one there, you got to look at it and say, whoa. So we have to stay in context of what we're talking about. Could we go in that direction of what you're talking? We could. That would throw off the context of the other verses that we were looking at. Anybody else? Oh, what, you trying to go home?
Yeah. I ain't got no keys, so.
Door lock.
It's alright.
That's understandable. You better get there. Yes, it is. Sure. There's somebody charged. Sure ain't mine. I ain't paid for it. You like David too? Is that in context of what we talking about? Are y'all trying to answer swiftly, or are you just disregarding what we just discussed? It's still, we have to look at the context of what we're talking about, of what we just discussed. It means we're moving too swiftly, and we're not staying singularly focused on the matter. If we just looked at woe to them that coveted evil covetousness, who got a city by unrighteous gain, or coveted something by unrighteous gain, that they may rest above the people to be delivered from evil, and then consulted to their shame by cutting off many people and sinning against their soul. And then a stone is crying out. Then it goes to Woe to him who build a town with blood. There was no woe to David for building the town with blood. He said David couldn't build that house because his hands were bloody. He didn't say that there was woe to David because his hands were bloody. David was literally fighting the wars of Yahuwah that Yahuwah sent him to fight. So why would he bring destruction on David's head for doing exactly what he told him to do? That's how the baby sounds. Is that how you sound?
You gonna go to the bathroom?
So I want you to focus before I elucidate any further.
What's that? No, where's that?
We at the 40-minute mark. So I'll give you till 1:41:30. Oh, I got your brain. No, I'm going to keep your brain. I'm going to cut your head open. I'm going to eat your brain. Brains are good. Put salt on it. It tastes like chicken. Are you going a little too further? That's a little too far down the line. Got about 25 seconds. I get all that. That's not the context of what the verses that we were just looking at before that. See, the verse with the wall crying out is going to be congruent to the verse behind the verse that we're looking at. So when we look at this verse right here, right, woe to them that build a town with blood. Remember, you just had somebody who brought a evil covetous to him because they sought to have something by unjust gain. I want you to look at something in Acts chapter 5 that show you who, what, and where, and how they built this city by blood. Matter of fact, before we do that, Isaiah 59. He gave it a live. I know we just talked about this the other day. Isaiah 59:3. Might look at Isaiah 1 behind it. Your hands are defiled with blood, your fingers with iniquity, your lips have spoken lies, your tongue have muttered perverseness. None call for justice, nor any plead for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief. They bring forth iniquity. Verse 7. Matter of fact, I'll read 5. They hatch cockatrice eggs, weave spiders' webs. He that eat of their eggs die, and that which crush break out into a viper. What did John the Baptist say about his people? Oh, generation of what? And snake, who told you to flee from the wrath to come? You see how that's talking about them people? Look at how he said what they done. They weave spiders' webs. What do webs do? They seek to capture and ensnare. And they eat of their egg. He that eat of their eggs die. That take us back to what we read in Matthew 23. He said, their webs shall not become garments, neither shall they cover themselves with their works. Their works are works of iniquity, and the act of violence is in their hands. Their feet run to evil. That takes us back to what? Proverbs chapter 6. Feet that are swift to run to mischief. They make haste to shed innocent blood. Proverbs 6 again. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity. Proverbs 6 again. Wasted and destruction are in their paths. The way of shalom. Because remember, he said to make known his way, that is saving health among all nations. The way of shalom they know not. There's no judgment in their goings. They've made them crooked paths. Whoso go therein shall not know shalom. Therefore judgment is far from us. Neither do justice overtake us. We wait for light, but behold obscurity, and for brightness, but we walk in darkness. So When we're looking at this here, this is the byproduct of gaining something by violence unjustly. Let's take a look at Acts 5. Matter of fact, before we go to Acts 5, Isaiah 4. I know I mentioned Isaiah 1 too. I might grab it while we're over there. Who is Isaiah?
My brother.
I thought that's how you would answer. Who is Isaiah named after?
Isaac.
No. Is Isaac and Isaiah the same name? A little bit. Isaac is Abraham's son. See this here? What does that say?
Isaiah.
So who is Isaiah? What does it say on top of that?
Philip.
Where do you see Philip? What are you reading? What does that say?
Read it.
What does that say? Are you nervous? What does it say? Well, reading it in your head serves no purpose when I ask you to read it. That means you would need to do what? Say it out loud, now wouldn't you? Yet that's not what you have done. So proceed. Oh, you're not familiar with that word, are you?
Sound it out.
But for the sake of the people, we have to move on. You might want to work on that. Prophet. You know what a prophet is? That's someone who Yahuwah talks to directly, and they tell you things that are going to happen before they happen. Isaiah 4. 4 and 4. When the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the ruach of judgment and the ruach of burning. Yahuwah will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion and upon her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day and the shining of flaming fire by night. For upon all the esteem shall be a defense. See, of course, verse 3 told you that everyone that remained in Jerusalem will be set apart. Everyone that is written among the living, a.k.a. in the book of life. So when you see that it says to purge the blood, why does blood need to be purged? Isaiah chapter 1. Yeah, you'd have sat down properly. That wouldn't have happened to you. You learned a valuable lesson and you partially got embarrassed.
Come on.
Isaiah 1 and 15. And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow. Come now, let us reason together, saith Yahuwah. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of Yahuwah has spoken it. How is the faithful city become a harlot? It was full of judgment and righteousness lodged in it, but now murderers. Let's read that again, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How is the faithful city become a harlot? It was full of judgment, righteousness lodged in it, but now murderers. Your silvers become dross, your wine mixed with waters, your princes are rebellious, and the companions of thieves. Everyone love gifts and follow after rewards. They judge not the fatherless, neither do the cause of the widow come unto them. Now, if they're companion of thieves, it says the princes are rebellious. The princes are the scribes and Pharisees. They rebelled, and they were companion with who? A thief. That's again another instance of why Judas is mentioned as a thief. They have turned the faithful city and made it a city of murderers, because these men had an unjust covetousness that they sought to get something by violence. Therefore, they built the city with blood. This is a city built by sin. And of course, this city that was built by sin and a city established by iniquity. Let's come over here to Acts 5 to conclude this map. Five and 24. You got long limbs. Didn't go for the 2 count. Oh. Thought you were going to do a Hulk Hogan. 5 and 24. Now, when the high priest and the captain of the temple and the chief priest heard these things, they doubted of then whereunto this would grow. Then came one of them and told them, behold, the men whom you put in prison are standing in the temple and teaching the people. Then went the captain with the officers and brought them without violence, for they feared the people lest they should be stoned. And when they had brought them, they set them before the council, and the high priest asked them, saying, did we not straitly command you that you should not teach in this name? Behold, you have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine and intend to bring this man's blood upon us. They built the city by blood, and they established it by iniquity. How did they establish it by iniquity? Because you've seen in the what you call it? In that Isaiah 59, that they had did some of the 6 things that Yahuwah hate, even 7, which are an abomination unto him. And that's how you establish a city, by iniquity. They established Jerusalem by their lawlessness, by executing a man who had did nothing. Remember, he said the faithful city had turned into a whore. And now he said righteousness used to lodge in it, and now murderers do. Because you got to remember that word covetous meant what? To gain something by violence unjustly. Not just, I want something. That's why he tell you not to covet in the law, because these Hebrew words let you know that. When you covet after something, you usually going to take it, and you usually going to take it by force. Come on back over here to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 13. It says, behold, it is not of Yahuwah of hosts that the people should labor in the very fire. It said it's not of Yahuwah that you should labor in the fire. Labor is Yagah. That is to grow weary or to become weary. So not just to labor, but he don't want you to become weary in the fire. He told you in Isaiah 40 that he'd give strength to those who are weary. Did he not? And of course, you know, fire is Sean and Olive. You get paired with the ox or with the leader. And that the people should weary themselves for very vanity. Remember, this is what the scribes had the people doing, participating in vanity. Let's look at Matthew 15. Uh, 15 and 3 is sufficient for now. Matthew 15:3, but he added 15:2, why do your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. He answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandment of Alahym by your tradition? Alahym commanded, saying, honor your Abba and your mother, and he that curse father or mother, let him die to death. But you say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever you might be profited by me. and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus you have made the commandment of Alahym of none effect by your tradition. You hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, this people draw near unto me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines and commandments of men. That's why I just mentioned that when we started. Don't be no go along, get along gang. Don't get caught up in the vanity and doctrines of men to your own detriment. Because it's not of Yahuwah that the people should labor in the fire and weary themselves for very vanity. That's not his will. Look at verse 14, what he tell you. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the esteem of Yahuwah as the waters cover the sea. Matthew 24. Yes. Yes. Do you like the color pink? Is it your favorite color? Are you just saying that because I asked that, or is it because it is?
Because it is.
Are you going to wear pink tomorrow?
Yes.
You thought about that for a long time, are you sure? Would you wear pink every day?
No.
Why not? I thought it was your favorite color.
It is.
Oh, you like to mix it up? Oh, do you style yourself?
Yes.
Who taught you how to do that? Who was that?
Mommy.
Who's mommy?
Mommy.
Who is that?
Your sister.
Who's my sister?
Mommy.
Mommy. Matthew 24 and 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you. You shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Then shall many be offended, and many shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because of iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. And this good news of the reign shall be preached in the world for a witness unto all nations, then shall the end come. See, that's a parallel of what we're talking about in Psalm 67. Also the same thing that he just said in Habakkuk chapter 2. This man's esteem is going to be known from one end of the earth to the other. Like what he said again, right? The earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the esteem of Yahuwah. Yahusha is the esteem of Yahuwah. He said, as the waters cover the sea, the earth is going to be filled with it. That's to be full, to be accomplished, also to consecrate, to confirm, to fulfill, to complete. They're going to know, and we're not letting people know about this, man. I'm going to give you verse 15 before we slide out of here. Woe unto him that give his neighbor drink, that put the bottle to him, as they tried to give him that sour wine. Make him drunken also, that they may look on their nakedness. See, they wanted to see him exposed. Thought they seen some little sin. You are filled with the shame for esteem. Drink you also, and let your foreskin be uncovered. Oh, now you've been defiled. The cup of Yahuwah's right hand shall be turned unto you. Shameful spewing shall be on your esteem. Oh, them people going to hell. Now, he said, let's go back to Psalm 67 before we get out of here. Because we done went 2 hours. Of course, we were about 30 minutes behind. Because the computer decided he wanted to update. But I want you to look at verse 2 yet again. It says that your way may be known upon the earth. Yahusha among all nations. He wants his set apart way and his son to be known in the whole earth. How do you do that? By bringing forth the message of the gospel of Yahusha to the saving of the soul. But we'll stop right here for now. You are willing till tomorrow. So hallelujah for Yahusha and the word. I appreciate y'all time this evening. Prayerfully, all things will be considered. We look at a lot of things just to establish a one simple fact. How this man's light shined upon us and how he needs to be, whether you realize it enough, all the stuff that we were looking at was a way to let it be known for him to be known. The man needs to be known amongst these people. They need to know who he is. They need to know what he's about. Because just like he told you in Romans, you can perish with the word or without the word. It don't make no difference. Perishing with the word is to hear the gospel and disobey it and die. Shoot, you can hear it and not die. And you know that's in the law. So that's what happened with the people in the land of the Canaanites, the Jebusites, the Hivites, the Perizzites. Ain't none of them hear no word. This man came and took them out. They perished without it. You went in the wilderness and you perished with it. But nevertheless, man, I appreciate y'all. I bless y'all at the house of Alahym in the name of Yahushua. Again, programming note, noon on the morrow, noon. So be advised and be prepared. Let the light of Yahushua shine in your hearts clearly. Let your feet be firmly locked in with this word. And Yahuwah willing, to the next time.